Yo, yo, yo. Welcome, everybody. This is eBlack of eBlack TV. We're back with another one, and I'm hoping everybody's enjoying their Friday. I'm hoping everybody can sit back, relax. There's a lot of content going on, but I'm glad you're here. You know how we do over here. Get you in, get you out. Shout out to the people in the replay. If you haven't already, hit the like, subscribe button. Y'all already know. So let's get right. Let's get right. So we are here today. If you didn't know already, this is the second season of eBlack TV. We are currently within the theme of philosophy. We're trying to question things, trying to change your actions. It's built on Malcolm X's phrase and comments on philosophy and action. So sexuality and femininity came about in a conversation I had with Bernard Riley. You know, we had a couple of conversations, and I posed to him that the ideas of men and femininity and sexuality are all tied together. You cannot have femininity without some variations of sexuality. So I put together a mini series, and so far I've been basically everybody's saying I'm wrong, but we gonna work on that. But today I brought in two very special guests, Tawana G. If you haven't had a chance, please subscribe to her channel. Congratulations to her. She just hit the 500. We all grinding out here. Bernard Riley, he's in the stratosphere right now. He comes down every once in a while, hollers at us. That's good. But I want to give a shout out to everybody who's in the chat. The early birds, y'all already know. Azriel, the Daywalker, Chef Shapino, he's also a Black Pride member. Black Light Revelations is in the building. E. Taylor is in the building. Needs Watches is in the building. Harrison Family Values, I got to get used to the name. Danique Anthony. yeah, you already know. Y'all getting in and y'all getting out. But anyway, let's kind of do a quick review. I'm not gonna waste too much time on this monologue, y'all know. But I want to make sure that we're understanding where this topic is coming from: sexuality and femininity. Women's sexuality is about her sexual feelings, thoughts, attractions, and behaviors towards men. With men, you can find women physically, sexually, or emotionally attractive, and all those things are a part of their sexuality. Okay. Femininity, it is a set of attributes, behaviors, and roles generally associated with women and girls, including behaviors influenced by cultural factors and biological factors. This is my opinion. This is what I looked up. We see it all across the world. In Africa, there's dolls. It's usually attributed to virtuism of what am I trying to say? The ability to have children. Even you look at how they looked at it in the 15th century, how they viewed femininity, unclothed, and these are the things that women represent to men, and what femininity in the eyes of men view it. So that's continue. Even in Asian culture, we see the sculptures, unclothed women, and this is the thing that like I said, that femininity is tied to sexuality, because without the sexuality part, you don't really have a femininity part, because men do not find that feminine. Okay, we'll see if that holds up true. And that's pretty much it. Good, got it out there. So without fertility, thank you, Chef. Thank you, Chef. Thank you, Chef. Chef is my walking dictionary. But shout out to everybody. We about to get it in. Y'all know the rules. If y'all have a disagreement, attack the argument, not the person. But anyway, I hope y'all enjoy this. I'm going to bring up my first guest. Ladies first. Tawana G. How you doing?
Hi.
Okay. Well,
Thank you.
I'm also going to bring up my next guest, Bernard Riley of the
Hey,
Grown
what's
Man
going
Hour.
on?
I'm
What's up,
gonna
man?
get down here. Y'all gonna have it out today. But first of all, am I wrong about this? Am I wrong about sexuality and femininity being tied to the fertility and the visualization of men and through cultural standards?
Who are you? Anybody can jump in. You
Yeah,
didn't.
go ahead. This is a conversation. This is not a debate.
Okay, yeah, I know who you was calling on first. So I'll just speak to what we talked about the last time we were on. You were more or less making an argument that, if I understood your point right, and I haven't I haven't rewatched it, so you got to forgive me if I botch what you said. It was more or less you were saying that her sexuality or her sexiness is tied to her femininity. She can't be feminine if men don't view her as sexy. Is that more or less your argument?
I'm saying that the higher that you go up on the femininity level scale, the more sexuality becomes a part of that too. That's
Yeah,
that's
they.
why that's why you have most feminine businesses catered towards men have sexual components to them.
Yeah.
Hooters,
Mhm.
stewardess, we can go down the list.
Yeah, they're definitely connected to each other. So, but you can have one without the other, but they are connected, or they go hand in hand really well. But there are examples of one without the other. So if
Okay.
a streetwalker is sexy, but she engages in some activities to where I'm not going to say, oh, that's a feminine woman right there. It's like,
I would
so
disagree. I would say that the streetwalker has perfected the artistry of sexuality and femininity because they are trying to
I
attract
understand.
men.
Yeah, no, I get where you're coming from. I get where you're coming from, but we run into a problem with that, and the problem we run into is then the Cardi B's of the world, the Meg the Stallions of the world become the feminine women, and women who conduct themselves the way they conduct themselves shouldn't be what we're looking at as feminine ideals. So that's the problem we run into with that one. So that's why I understand what you're saying, and
Okay.
to some degree, I can't argue your point because, like, I use the example of a streetwalker. I mean, yeah, it does take some feminine wiles to they got to seduce men to get them to spend money. So yeah, so yeah, they they they're they can use their femininity for good, or they could use it for evil. Put it like that. But that's all I say. That I don't want to hog the mic.
No problem. Tawana, you're on
Yeah,
mute.
I hear.
Did you hear my soliloquy on sexuality and femininity? Do you agree or disagree?
No, I didn't. I mean, I'm trying to get clarity. Are you saying that most feminine women have some sort of like embrace their sexuality, right? Because they've been able to master the art of whatever it is that they want to obtain from men. If
Yes.
this is speaking from heterosexual relationship view, right? I have to agree with that. I don't see how, I mean, I don't believe that all feminine women have a level of sexuality that they've embraced and they've learned how to embrace their sexuality. But most feminine women, we do use our sexuality as a way to like elicit certain behaviors from men. So yeah, it is connected. I don't too much see it being disconnected with feminine women. I've rarely seen a feminine woman who is just not does not have a level of sexuality or desire or whatever. But there is cases. Someone named a person. I think they said something about Cleaver. They didn't think she was very sexual. They just thought she was just really feminine. So I guess there is some instances, right? But I'm talking about as a collective, women, right? We have a level of sexuality. We have femininity. So I don't see it being differently. Most studies put them together. There's not many that separate the two. So it's interesting to hear people say that it's not connected. Yeah.
And like I said, we even last time, Bernard, we talked about how Angel Mama. We said Angel Mama is technically as feminine as they come. She cooks, she cleans, she does
Yeah.
all the things that are necessary, but does not have the sexual component to her.
Yeah, we talked about that. It was very
Do I need to
cringy.
run that back?
No, we talked about it. It was
No.
very cringy because I kept pausing you, like, who said Aunt Jemima is the feminine ideal, or you? I think you
The
elevated
nanny.
her to what's considered the most feminine woman, and I was side eyeing you, but I did reach across the aisle,
Yes.
and I said, silly from the color purple, she wouldn't be considered sexy or attractive. But if you look at what she did as a woman, how she took care of that house, how she made the house a home, basically. I mean, you remember the movie how it looked when she walked in there. So yeah, she when he was getting ready for work, she had everything set, ready to go. He didn't even know up from down, but she had it all right there. So she did exude what you want a feminine woman to exude. But again, nobody would say that she was sexy. So the two can be separate. I think, and if this conversation gets confusing because I think it was stemmed from something that happened on my channel when
Yes.
you was trying to cape for the 304s and
Yeah.
trying to elevate them to really feminine women, and we shouldn't criticize their behavior because those are the true feminine women, and so
I
you
mean,
going down this long rabbit hole just trying to win an argument from 6 months ago. That's all. All right.
no, no, no. My case was this. 304s have mastered the art of sexuality and femininity. You cannot be a successful hoe without mastering femininity.
Mm.
Yeah, you master, and it's plenty aspects of femininity that they have not mastered. I think and that's where the debate was. They
Yes.
mastered seduction and sexuality, but just look at Nicki Minaj in that last interview with Joe Button when she was talking about I don't know who she was talking about men in general, and she kept saying eat a, I don't want to mess up the algorithm, mess up your channel. She was saying eat a penis. She said every cuss word under the book. Like no, that's not a woman that's mastered femininity, but she's mastered some level of sexuality, sexiness, and just seduction. She's mastered that. But I'm not gonna say she's feminine. If you're talking like that, you're not feminine. You're not. You just look good. You got curves. You got nice lady lumps. I want to hit that. That don't mean that she's a feminine woman. That's where I'm at with it.
That's tough. Okay.
So a woman has to be feminine all the time in order for you to consider her a feminine woman. Like she's always got to be resting in femininity.
I don't know what resting in femininity means, but
It means that she's just feminine. I don't know, feminine,
all
whatever,
right,
whatever
yeah.
you consider to be feminine, whatever your idea is, because there was a definition, but I guess we have our own perception of what we consider feminine, even though there was a definition that was
I
displayed.
think if you fastly, quickly default into the way that she was talking in the example that I gave, I don't think
That
you're
was Nicki.
feminine.
That was Nicki Minaj. You said.
Yes, yes. If that's just a second nature default, I mean, I can say a woman is feminine if, like, let's just say something bad happened and she really just erupts. Okay, I'm not going to say she ain't, I caught her, I busted her, she not feminine.
Right.
Or her, she just saw one of her kids get ran hit by a car, and she cussed the person out who did it. I'm
Right.
not going to take her femininity away. But if you just walking and just doing that like the wind blow, then nah, you're masculine.
It's some things that seem more natural than others, is what you're saying. There's a.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you this because I'm going to skip forward because you guys are actually treading on our other topic of conditional femininity.
Right. I didn't want to talk about it too much because I was like, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, so let's talk about this. Tawana, is there such thing as conditional femininity?
I mean, it's called energy fluid. It's not actually called conditional femininity. That's exactly what it is. And what happens is, I mean, and most people, most women, especially modern women, right? Like we've learned to use our masculine energy, especially in the workplace, especially in certain environments. Like we have to use our masculine energy, and it's just required. Like you can't be in certain spaces and not embrace it. So I just feel like women who have masculine energy is because the times and where we've shifted to and how we have to be, right? A woman is going to have both. So I think that women learn how to master and when it's appropriate. Like, for instance, in certain spaces, especially in this space, I don't feel protected as a woman. Like, I don't feel safe being like vulnerable with men in these spaces, right? So I will never be completely open and vulnerable like I will be with my husband or my family or my friends. Like, I will never do that with people in these space. So regardless of how you view me in this space, you don't know how I behave toward my children, toward my family, toward my friends, right? Like, you don't know me on a personal level. And so there is a such thing as being energy fluid. There is a such thing as like embracing certain energy when you're around certain spaces. So yeah, it's actually a human instinct. It's natural. It's not something that we should be shamed about. No woman is going to be feminine 100% of the time. It's just impossible. It's just not. And honestly, when a woman is like that, in this world, you can be unprotected. It could be dangerous for you to be like that. So
So
I
you're
just
saying
don't
it's
think it's
dangerous to you're dangerous is to be a woman to be 100% feminine in this
all the
world.
time.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm guessing what you're saying is that there is such thing as conditional femininity.
Yeah, there is. I mean, I
But
guess that's what y'all call it. I call it energy fluid, but you can call it conditional feminine.
okay,
I don't know.
Bernard.
I think it's different.
Yeah, like I said on the last show, I ask the question, what's your default setting? If your default setting is to be feminine, like my default setting is to be masculine, then okay, it I don't understand why the term conditional femininity was even brought up. Conditional femininity, I mean, I'm not saying I don't know why it was brought up by you, eBlack. I don't know why women are online trying to sell that as an actual thing. It's more of a it's more of them trying to justify their masculinity and trying to make some argument to try to justify it. I say if you're naturally a feminine woman, but there are certain situations, let's just say at work, you happen to have a job where you happen to have to engage in a masculine activity. Let's just say you're doing it's some physical labor on your job, and so I feel like a feminine woman is going to approach that, and she's going to be like she's gonna be drained out. She's gonna be drained out the fact that she has to engage in this physical labor, or if she's in a higher up position on the job where she has authority over people and she has to tell people what to do. She has to boss people around. Like I saw that it was a woman. She was a supervisor at my job. She was a in my assessment, she was definitely a very soft spoken feminine woman, and I could tell it drained her when she had to come tell people, especially men, what to do. It drained her. She hated doing it. I would practically see her like, and then she would just go and approach people. Like she just didn't like doing it. I could tell her default setting was to be feminine, but it was another female supervisor at the job. She just walked up like Stone Cold Steve Austin. She was ready to go, and she loved to have to tell somebody what to do. She got off on it damn near. Like, so that was a woman that I looked at as, no, she wasn't just conditionally being masculine right there. No, she reveled in it. She enjoyed it, and she took that home to her man if she had one. But the other example that I gave of the woman who had to really work herself up to do it, I can tell when she went home, it was now I can be me. I can relax. Her default setting was to be feminine. So that's what I asked. What is your default setting? And if your default setting is to be a feminine woman and you have to really exert yourself to engage in certain, more masculine activities, then yeah, you're doing what you have to do in the moment. But I think it's a nonsensical argument when they say, "Oh, it's hard for me to turn off what I naturally am when I get home." I'm like, "No, you just an out-of-pocket chick and pretty masculine and you like it." So that's where I'm at with that.
Tawana, I'll give you a 30-second response.
I mean, I don't think that a woman should be expected to behave a certain way in the workplace, and I don't think she should be judged based off of a small interaction that you have with her on how she may treat her partner. I think it's flawed to even think that type of way. In most cases, women know how to turn it on and off. In most cases, women know how to master whatever their energy is. And women who have a natural masculine energy and who identify as that are just that. They usually
I
are
agree with that part.
very comfortable with that. They understand, they've embraced it for a lot of different reasons, because their sexuality may be tied to what men tend to value or what men tend to like. So I think that even when women try to define femininity, they try to use it on a scale, and they try to tell women that if you don't behave this way, this percentage of the time, then you're not feminine. It's a way to kind of divide women, when really biologically they also have to have some characteristics like fertility, for instance, to be considered a woman and to be considered feminine. So, like, if that's the case, then I guess that's why men think they are feminine, right? Like, I have men argue that they are feminine, more feminine than women. I mean, if you can have these arguments that Bernard had, for instance, I think that that's why we have this miscommunication about what femininity truly is, and why some people can identify that way and feel that they are more feminine than women, even because some men make it clear that you can be, right? It's something you can learn or teach, or you can
Are
be that
you?
way, and you can behave a certain way, and you're more feminine than this person, and you can look a certain way and be more feminine. I mean,
I'm lost. Are you talking about gay men?
I'm just
Go ahead, Tawana.
I'm talking about any man who identifies himself as being feminine, or who feels that he has more feminine traits than
It's
masculine. Then I understand why they think they're more feminine than women, because men like that, men like you, kind of give them the argument, because you basically said that you don't have to really be a woman to be feminine. I mean, you just need to behave a certain way. You just need to act a certain way. You just need to behave and have these traits and characteristics. And you will look at a woman and you will determine whether she's masculine or feminine. So I think that's why they think that. And I think
Bernard,
I'll give them the
hold on, hold on, Tawana. Sorry, Bernard. I gave her 30 seconds, but obviously she abused it. But I'll let you respond.
I
I
don't even know what I'm responding to at this point.
From my understanding, her point was that if behavior of femininity, if femininity was based on behavioral traits,
right.
then that is why you have gay men who believe that they are more feminine than women.
That's right.
Thus, femininity is a behavioral trait that is dictated by men and cultural standards. So, I'm
Okay, I don't care nothing about gay men and what they believe or don't believe. We was talking about
I didn't
women.
say gay men. That was what he said, but he did explain exactly what my
If
position
you're
was,
talking,
besides the gay men thing.
holy crap! All right, so yeah, I do think a woman's behavior is a major determining factor in how feminine she is. I would just say that, and I'll leave that there. And everything else about a man's level of femininity, that I don't know what that has to do with the conversation, and I ain't
It
even
has a
touching
lot
that.
to do with it, because there's a
It
lot of
don't.
people who identify as feminine, and they're not biological women. So you're basically giving that argument, and that's fine. So it's a just a behavior, and anybody can learn it.
No, I
Cool.
didn't say
So
just the
then,
behavior. I
so
said
then men and women both can be
I
feminine. Cool.
I
Okay.
said a
We got it.
woman's behavior determine how feminine that woman is
So she must be
compared to another woman who has less of that feminine behavior.
okay.
That's the argument. I rest my case.
all right.
I
Well,
I don't agree with
we'll leave
that.
it on that one. We'll leave it on that one. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, all right. So recently I had a discussion and a panel on this, and I just kind of want to get your guys' view on this. This is just your own personal view. Jordan Peterson saying that this is not beautiful. I just want to have your guys' idea.
Get a dog by alone. We heard it.
Let me
Yeah, goodness.
let me see the picture.
It is
Let me see the picture again. I haven't seen it. I'm
okay.
sorry. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Interesting.
So Jordan Peterson says this is not beautiful. Now I have my own opinions in regards to this,
Mhm.
but I want to get your guys' opinion because this does kind of go into the. He says it's not beautiful, which then says it's not sexually beautiful, but this could be a feminine woman, and let's just kind of unwrap this for like a quick minute. What do you guys feel? Bernard, you can go first on this one.
Oh,
Um, well, Jordan Peterson saying this is, he said this is not beautiful. That's what he said,
Yes.
right? Yeah, him saying that, I definitely understand where he's coming from. They're doing the whole fat acceptance movement, and they're trying to tell us what's beautiful. I think a lot of what we perceive as beautiful, I think the majority of it is natural. We're hardwired to see certain things and certain traits and certain attributes as beautiful. Yes, there's some fluctuations throughout culture, but they are on a hard campaign to try to say that even a poorly built, overweight woman can be beautiful. And yeah, I think that's some nonsense. So I do respect him taking a stand on that. Then I'll be remiss if I didn't point out there is a movement that's been going on for a while towards thicker women. I'm one of the few people in this space. I got a full head to toe picture of my woman on my Instagram page. I can see what type of thickness I like. So I do like some thickness, but I ain't messing with no unshapely. No, nothing unshapely. So yeah, if they're trying to sell that, I'm not buying what they're selling. So I respect and I stand with brother Jordan Peterson for taking a stand against it. So I'm with it.
Okay. Tawana, what do you feel?
I think that no one is forcing anyone to believe that someone is beautiful,
I
but
didn't say force.
eh,
Just
this is
go ahead. You got it.
is
You
it
got
my
it.
time to talk? Did I
You got it.
interrupt you?
You
Okay,
got it. I just was saying I didn't
but
say force, but
people
you got it. You got it. You got it.
thank you. No one is forcing anyone to be attracted to anyone. Okay. But people always feel the need to give their unsolicited advice. So let me just say this: Jordan Peterson himself talked about how vicious people can be on Twitter. That was one of his responses. Is why he decided to get off. And he said that people were just like overly critical and whatever. But then he doesn't talk about how he participates in this very thing, right? Because her being beautiful, okay, you can think she's not beautiful, but her weight and how beautiful she is, how does it affect you in your life? If other people find her beautiful, if Sports Illustrated picked her to be on the cover, which they picked many women who are fit and beautiful. Kim Kardashian was on one recently, right? Like there's other women that they can select. They have an array of women who are willing to do it, who fit the criteria or whatever we think is beautiful. However, they chose this woman. So the fact that he felt the need to criticize her or call her ugly or say she wasn't beautiful, I don't really get the point. But people were trying to argue it's a health thing and he's promoting all this, but he didn't really say anything about her health or weight. He really just talked about her beauty. And I think that it's ridiculous for you to think that people have to feel like you and everybody thinks that way. No. And I'm sure that there's a reason why Sports Illustrated wanted to put her on the cover. And I don't think that we should be telling people who's beautiful and who isn't, especially when we're in certain spaces. And I think that it's really irresponsible of him. But at the end of the
So
day, he has
Tawana,
his
let me ask
opinion.
you this. Let me ask you this,
Yeah.
Tawana. Do you think we're gonna ask the last question as we close this out. Do you think that there's some undertone of European cultural prejudgment on this lady? Do you think that he sees thick hips and maybe an unshapely body, and he's making a dog whistle to his followers who are largely white males, that they're trying to make us like thick women? Do you
Yeah.
think that he's kind of using that
I mean, I know he made a comment about like he can't masturbate to that or something like that. I feel that it is this standard of beauty that white men in general, like, and some other races of men try to push on all women, right? But then there are men who are extremely attracted to women who are shaped like her, who look like her. And it's not anything to be ashamed of. And it's not anything to, I guess, shame people for. I think that people need to understand that your beauty standards and what you are attracted to is not necessarily what other people feel is beautiful. So
Bernard?
why
Bernard,
not?
what do you think,
Yeah.
Bernard? just on the think. Do you think that this is something that a white man is saying as a dog whistle to his followers in regards to the shape of people of color not being attractive?
No, I don't think it's a dog whistle about people of color. I mean, after all, this was a I don't know what her race was. I
She's
think
Japanese and Dutch.
okay, so she's like European and Asian. So no, I don't. I think that's a reach to say that he's dog whistling to say that people of color are unattractive. If this was a woman who wasn't necessarily a person of color, so no, I don't think that's the case. I just think that. Well, I'll say this: Tawana did say something good at Jordan Peterson, who did make a bold statement about somebody. He did criticize somebody, and was that Sports Illustrated that put it out there? So he's criticizing Sports Illustrated. He's criticizing her, and then people come criticize him. You can't turn into a snowflake and get mad when you get some own criticism. I will give you that that one good point, but this is my overall general point on it. Everything is media, advertising. There's a propaganda war, and yeah, the whoever puts their ideas, views, thoughts, perspectives, or what they see as beautiful out there and get it out there circulating, that's the person who's not going to make or force somebody to like a fat woman, but they're doing what they're doing what they want to do to try to, I guess, stir the pot of the culture to try to lean more people in that direction. So they have the right to do that, and people like Jordan Peterson have a right to just take a stand and say no.
All
They're
right.
they're clearly selling something, and he's clearly saying, "I'm not buying what you're selling." So for that reason, no harm, no foul. But yeah, I'll just leave it there.
All right. So, like I said, we can probably debate on that subject by itself. Last time we did the subject, it was 2 hours, and I don't think nobody really got anything resolved. But I think it definitely lies on a couple of opinions. So, let's go to our next subject. Tawana, you had a very interesting take in regards to the gender war.
Yeah.
We said, now famously, one of my favorite points about Kevin Samuels is that he said that the gender war was over and men won.
Okay.
Bernard, do you believe that? Just a quick yes or no.
No,
Okay.
no to the gender war being over.
Do you believe that men won?
If it's not over, they couldn't possibly have won a war that's not over. Um, I, I I think with Kevin Samuels blowing up as big as he did and having a major media platform, that even though he said the gender war is over, I think yeah, that's a certain level of cap, because his channel was a gender war channel. I mean, that he I always say he dangled the shiny object of the high value men to get the women to come in so he can sit them down and debate Black manosphere talking points with them.
Right.
So
Right.
his channel was a gender war channel. Ain't no getting around that one. And so to have, when you're talking about channels that dabble into the gender war, the mere fact that a man's channel was the biggest channel, millions of subscribers, got millions and millions of views per week, and he was, like I said, that propaganda war, that media war, he was stirring the pot of the culture. Everybody was basically responding to what he was doing, either making his arguments or trying to beat his arguments. So in that sense, yes, men were winning the gender war. And so now it's a little shaky right now. It's a little shaky right now,
Yeah.
It's a little shaky right now given the recent events. But no, men have definitely been winning as of late. If we're defining the gender war as like the battle of the sexes, the online talking points, rhetorical war of words between men and women, and just like it's like a war of ideas. If we're talking about that, if that's how we're defining the gender war, oh, men definitely been curb stomping the eye for like the last year and a half, easy.
Okay. Tawana.
What? Okay. So tell me how are y'all winning? I don't understand how any man is winning a gender war. Like,
Well, I just
fertility
defined it.
rates. I mean, women are becoming. First of all, are we talking about Black community? I feel like we give a lot of credit to people like he started some sort of gender war. Really, I
No,
don't
he didn't start it.
believe he started any kind of gender war. There's always been differences in women.
Mm-hmm.
The feminist movement happened and they got some things that they wanted. There's the LGBTQI movements that are happening and people are winning. Like, what are you guys winning? No laws have been changed. Nothing has
Mm-hmm.
really benefited y'all. Y'all not in really no positions of power. Y'all don't have social power. Y'all don't have resources, wealth in your communities. You don't control anything. How are you winning? What exactly are you
All right.
winning? I
All
don't.
right. I can
I don't
answer that real
know.
easy.
Bernard, go ahead and answer that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can answer that real easy. That's why I said, and I did a stream. I did a stream called "How to Define Victory in a Gender War," and I broke it up into two different parts. One of it was like I just described, just the online media war, the talking points battle, the talking points war. But then I then I put it out there. I did put it out there clear that now the actual gender war in the real world, the actual gender war, and in the real world I barely even would call it a gender war, but I was basically saying, you know, how do you define victory in terms of that? Like that's not something that I could say that men are winning. Men have definitely lost. The feminist movement was a huge success. Was a huge success. And we have the, like you said, the low fertility rate and the lack of families and the whole works because of that. Like, congratulations, you broke up families. Yay. But but so it's like, in that sense, no, y'all winning. Or as they, 304s is winning, as they say. Women are in a position to
I
where,
don't think that's a
yeah,
304. I think
no,
that's
no,
a
no, no.
direct
It's
reaction.
it's a saying. It's a saying in the space. But I was just throwing back to something. But no,
Disrespect.
it's real talk though. Real talk.
Yeah.
Right now, women are in position to where, yes, if they get an education, they go get a good job, they can go and be successful and make some decent money. If they fail at that, okay, there's a social safety net for them if they fail at it. Like, it's really hard for a woman to fail. If she failed in terms of being successful on her own, or if she's not going the social safety net route, she can she can just set up, just go find a guy that's going to take care of her. Like, it's like, how does a woman lose in this modern world? It's like, it's so in that sense, women technically can't lose no matter what they do, no matter how they do it. They'll either figure out how to make it on their own, they'll find a man to take care of them, or they'll find the government to take care of them. So in that sense, yeah, they are winning. But as far as the media propaganda war and getting ideas, thoughts, views, and perspectives out there and defeating the other's arguments, that aspect of it, the online part of it, then yeah, I think men have done an effective job as of late doing that. But far as an actual change in reality, no, it hasn't progressed to that point yet. Hasn't progressed to that point yet. No.
Can I finish my point? Because what I was going to say was that men aren't even winning the verbal battles that he claims. So a lot of
Wrongly disagree.
what happened with a lot of women, like a lot of women are educated, right? And so they know how to analyze data and reports. And so a lot of women are challenging a lot of the data that's come out, a lot of the things that's said. A lot of women are like, no, you guys are misinterpreting that. And actually, that's not what it was saying. And it's been actually challenged and fact checked. And so a lot of talking points have been completely dismissed and have been found to be untrue. So I'm trying to figure out what, and being aggressive and harassing women and being angry and acting like animals is not winning the war. That's what men are doing in these spaces. And you think that that's winning the war. Actually, what you do is you're revealing how much of a monster you truly are. It's not really winning anything. It's just showing the truth about who you are and who people believe you to be. So if you think that being like verbally aggressive is winning some kind of war, no, what is winning the war is actually, I'm telling you that that's what is exhibited in these spaces. You said what men are doing in these spaces. That's what they're doing. Actually, that's the
But
that's what
if we're in a discussion and you say, if you say, if you think that being verbally aggressive is winning, like, I never said being verbally aggressive is winning. So if you're talking to me,
what men are doing in this space,
I mean, yeah, I could easily win an argument by bringing up what some of the worst examples of women are doing in the space, but I'd rather talk to you directly based off what you're saying and what you're thinking, and either you're right or you're wrong. So when you said when you said that women are more educated, or a lot of women are educated and they're looking at the facts and everything. Like, listen, this whole space and all the facts and stats and data and all the stuff that gets brought out there, nobody runs a finer tooth comb through it than the men. The men put out some data, other men check the data, and they argue and debate back and forth about the data, and sometimes the whole beef sprout up over people arguing over the facts in the stats. So women coming in saying, "Oh yeah, I looked at this and you didn't carry the two right there." Like we already
it's not just women. It's men it's men, especially white men, who are challenging some of you all's stats and data. It's not just it's definitely it's other races of people who are saying these stats are not right and actually challenging them and giving women some of the arguments actually. So it's not primarily women.
I would love. I mean, I would like examples on that. I would like examples on that. And I mean, and keep in mind. Hold on. And let me say this.
Hold on. Let me say this. Bernard reply.
Yeah.
And let me say this. I guarantee you won't name one that was put out there by a black man online that I can't guarantee you and provide links of other black men challenging him on it. So that's why I say that's why I'm trying to figure out why you say even white men said that was wrong. Well, who gives a damn what some white men said? We are on the job checking it.
I said other men are challenging, other groups, racial groups of men are challenging.
Racial groups of men
not just white men. I mean, there's other.
Okay, who cares what other racial groups of men are doing? If we're on the job,
I do.
Oh, good for you. But
yeah, I do.
But no, okay, great. That's great. That's great. But but we're already on the job challenging and critiquing and running a fine tooth comb through the things that we're saying. So I don't see that. I mean, I've heard rebuttals and counters. I've done plenty of videos. The people who have challenged a lot of the things that we've said. I've done plenty of streams where I did a counter to what they were saying and pulled up the data and pulled up the facts and read through it and worked through it. And so, I mean,
yeah, it's been done on both ends. It's been done on both ends. So how do we know which one of you are right and wrong?
Well, there's
everybody's challenging everybody.
There's a right answer and a wrong answer.
Yes. No. And to be fair, Tawana.
Okay, but what's the point?
Okay. Tawana.
Which point?
To be fair, what Bernard is saying is that he runs a space in which they do this on a daily basis, checking the facts and numbers. So you have to give him concede a little bit to that point too.
Well, what facts? I don't concede to somebody. He didn't say a fact or a number that I'm like, oh, I'm fighting against. He just made a generalized statement. I mean, a lot of people think that they are putting out true information and factual information. I mean, we can name some, right? But that's not necessarily true, right? We have to look at, people look at studies, people look at all types of different data. Studies might not be a true reflection of what the statistics are showing in certain areas. So I have to be clear where your source is and who and how you're actually interpreting it. So yeah, I do think that it's important to know what data and where your source is.
So just to summarize this thing, Tawana, are men winning the gender war debate? Yes or no?
No.
Okay.
No, hell no.
Okay.
Not the debate, not in real life, nowhere. They're just not winning. That's
okay. I'm just trying to get this summary out. All right. But if you guys thank you guys for showing up once again. Please hit the like button. It's free. I tried hard to get this show together. Just hit the like button. I don't even ask for likes. So let's move on to one of my favorite topics. Hoes are winning. Bernard hates the subject.
I do?
Hoes aren't winning? Is that what you said? Or they are winning?
Huh?
You said they aren't winning or
they are winning.
Hoes are winning. Okay.
So the idea is this. The women who rest in their femininity are not getting married. 1 in 4 black women are not achieving marriage. Also, they are becoming more educated, like you said. However, the women who are becoming married, or the women who are getting the men that they want, and the lifestyle that most people are attaining to, are women who are loosely based on their sexuality. You have women who go to school to pile up debt and student loans. You have women who spend 80 hours a week at the job they hate just to do a vacation for 1 week with a woman who laid on her back does. Ideally, hoes are winning because they are getting the lifestyle that most people are working for what comes to them naturally, is sexuality and femininity. Tawana.
I mean, I'm struggling with this. So my mind, I'm like, okay, what do you consider a hoe? I mean, I think we gotta define it because because people say Kim K not a hoe, right? Like, and she out here winning, right? Getting married 3, 4 times, and men are still trying to marry her, right? I mean, we have so many examples of women who are like overly sexual, but then they still get married and they don't necessarily fit the criteria of whatever men consider feminine or perfect, and they still get chosen. So are you relating certain behaviors like Black China is a stripper? Cardi B used to be a stripper, right?
Well, it goes
She's
back
now
to
married, right? Like, she now
so
a married woman.
it goes back to my original point of why we
Right.
have sexuality versus femininity.
Right.
We're finding that men love hoes.
Yeah, men are marrying hoes. I mean, at the end of the day, men are marrying what men call hoes, right? Because is she a hoe? That's up for discussion. I'm not going to call someone a hoe based on, especially like Black men standards of hoes, because Black men hypersexual and oversexualize women a lot. So I think that they tend to call women out of their name, like they do that, like it's almost innate. So I'm not going to go based on how I'm sorry, eBlack, not you, but Black men, how they define women as hoes. But I will say this, that whatever our perception of what a woman should look like and how she should behave and how she should be is not what men are like gravitating toward, and they could care less how you guys feel about the women that they choose, right? They're choosing who they want to be with. Like Russell Simmons with Sierra, regardless of how y'all feel about it, he's choosing to be with her. Cardi B with Offset. Kim K, Kanye still want her. You know what I mean? He still wants her. He got the sex tape for her and brought it to her, and he don't care. So I don't think that people are caring about how other men are defining women and who they're telling them not to be with. I think people want to genuinely be happy, and they want to be happy with who they choose to be happy with. But yeah, I don't want to put no woman in like the whole category based on how Black men define women, because I think that they hypersexualize themselves. So I don't think that they should be defining nobody.
So
That's how I feel. Go ahead.
A white man can call you a hoe, but a Black man can't.
I'm talking about Black men in this space. I ain't saying no white men. Listen,
I'm just curious. A black man can't call you a hoe. Who can? Clearly, there's a man somewhere that can call you a hoe. But
any man gotta call me a hoe, because actually, white men ain't never called me no hoe. Like, I feel like white men ain't never offended me. So what I'm saying is, I mostly have proximity to the men in my community who are the ones who typically degrade the women, or who I've seen degrade the women. So I'm speaking to that, and I don't. Yeah, if they started doing it, then I'll have a problem with that. I mean, what
I didn't ask you who was doing it. You just was saying Black men can't do it, so I was just trying to figure out who could. That's all.
I didn't say y'all can't do it. I said I don't care about your definition of what.
Okay, so that means that
you're hypersexualized, and I don't care about how y'all define women and their sexuality, because you yourselves, y'all sexual deviants, and as general. So I'm just saying, like, why?
Who are we being sexual deviants with?
The same women y'all call hoes. The same women y'all call hoes are the ones that y'all are sexual deviants with.
I understand Bernard's question. Let Bernard get in this, because we got one more question after that, and we're gonna wrap this up.
Well, just I guess throw the original question at me. I'm not even trying to go through. I'm not even
All
trying to
right,
get.
all right,
Yeah,
Bernard,
I
because
want to.
we've had the
Go ahead.
discussion. We've had the discussion. Hoes are winning, right? We've said, you know, and this is how sexuality and femininity started. The
Mm-hmm.
women who are using their sexuality and their femininity are establishing the lifestyle in today's American culture that the women who only want to rest on femininity alone want, have. So, like I said, the woman who's working hard, doing all the things that she says that is non-sexual and trying to find a man is working hard for the lifestyle for the woman who's using her sexuality and her femininity. So
Right.
in theory, hoes are winning because they're using their sexuality. It may not be a literal hoe that walks down the street, but females who are using their sexuality and their femininity are winning.
That's true. That's true. I mean, if I apply man logic to it, I can make an argument to say that they're not winning because I wouldn't want to do. I wouldn't want to win by doing the stuff that hoes do. So in that sense, you could argue that they're not winning. But if they're happy doing what they're doing, I can't argue with that point. That a woman who's who's going hard all throughout the year to provide herself. You know, she's like you said, she's putting in 80 hours to put herself in the position of a woman who's not putting in those hours. She's just using her body, her sexuality, her feminine wiles and all of that to basically be afforded a life that other people, particularly men, have to get up every day and work for. And some women, women have to get up every day and work for that. But the hoe who could do that without really working for it, she's basically doing recreational stuff that she technically would do anyway. Yeah, that's a win. That's a win. You can't take a win away from her. You just can say that no, I personally wouldn't want to be sucking penises for a living. But so that you can just make a personal statement, but you can't take a win away from her if she's able to make the same amount of money that I work for doing recreational activities. So yeah, no, she's winning.
So it is a morality thing.
Yeah, I think there's a higher percentage of women. I'm not even going to put a percentage on it, but there's a higher percentage of women who would do what they do if they could do it without the social judgment. And I think that's part of the reason why they are, do slut walks and try to normalize slutty behavior, because they want it to be normalized. They want it to be an actual thing. And I do believe
So
in freedom
is
and
that
democracy. They can do what they want to do, but that's just that.
okay? Because the reason why I say that is because a lot of men, what I've heard, especially in different spaces, is about the body count. Now we can talk about the psychological issues with commitment and high body counts, but like I said, it's kind of hard to tell a female not to have a high body count when you see women being in successful relationships and marriages through high body counts too. So that's the point of this
So the high
question.
body count is equal to hoe to y'all. So like if she got a high body count, then she considered a hoe. But men are still marrying them, and we trying to figure out why.
Yeah, some men are still marrying them, and I
Because
can't get
that's
I
what
can't
women want.
I
They want
can't
to be married.
I can't get jiggy with that. But shout out to Edward Anderson in the chat room. He did point out that you what did he say? You have porn stars that have self-deleted over this stuff. Man, y'all are really reaching right now. You are absolutely right that they're the type of lifestyle that I described, where they're making hundreds of thousands, in some cases millions, if they really flip it right with OnlyFans. A lot of them a lot of them, they do have trauma, but there's a percentage that are perfectly happy doing what they're doing. But we can't discount
Mhm.
the fact that it'd be a lot of crying in the shower going on. So I get that. I get that. So we don't want to
Yeah.
remove that from the discussion. But as far as body count and all of that, I say you can never put a number on it because you will never know. You don't know what a woman, you don't know what her body count is. You could ask her and she could tell you a lie. So it's no way of putting a number on that. So my thing is, how do you conduct yourself? How do you present yourself? If you show up with a bunch of kids by a bunch of men and have a social reputation or a social media that's real trashy, then I will make my judgments about that. And I don't want to be hand in hand walking around with somebody who has that type of reputation. So if your reputation clean, your social media clean, and you ain't got a trail of babies crawling behind you, then you're pretty much solid with me.
Oh,
Okay. All right. So real quick, I
hey
just
Jen, hey Freezy. I'm sorry.
I want to give one last little shout out to everybody for showing up. We're gonna get to our last question, but I also want to acknowledge the super chats from Sir Ties, also on the on the block with Jen, and Sir Ties also gave another chat. I'm sorry, I don't want to.
Hey y'all.
I don't want to disrupt the conversation. We're trying to get through this. So our final question is in regards to sexuality in today's world. Um, are we being over sexualized? Um, is it really over sexualization or just freer society? What in the we're trying? I feel as if we're trying to move women back inside, but then at the same time we want to have a certain segment of women who are discardable too, based on sexuality too. We want to be able to say that men can have sex as much as they should before 25, before they commit to a woman, and then find the woman who just so happened to make it out the fray, and now they're a virgin at 25. But then it doesn't really make sense because you're literally looking for a crapshoot, or I feel you're looking for a crapshoot. But I want to talk about just what does femininity and sexuality mean in today's world? Where are we headed towards? And kind of what is the role of today's woman in terms of their femininity and sexuality do you guys believe we should be having? And I know that's a loaded question, but it's the last question.
I
So
was
y'all
like,
can
that's a load.
but I just wanted to
It's
end on
like
that.
you
What?
asked a question and then you made a statement and
Right.
thought you'd another question and closed it out with a statement.
We like, huh?
I
What's
don't
the
know what to.
question?
All right,
Yeah,
real quickly then. All right, so what does femininity mean today in today's world? Let's just start there.
that's
In
the woman. I
today's
don't know.
world.
No, but no, what do you think a feminine woman is?
What do I think a feminine woman is? I hate when I'm asked that question because it's almost it's hard to explain. I actually like to hear women explain it, but because I'll end up going to just the stock answer of what a feminine woman is or what feminine means. Because like from a man's perspective, it's almost like you know it when you see it. So it's sometimes hard for me to put it in words, but so I we say ask the question again. It's at towards the end of the show. I'm getting tired. What's the question? You
Right.
said
It's like,
I'm running out of spit here. What's the
Yeah,
question
yeah, yeah,
again? You
yeah,
said
yeah. Basically,
what's
what
the
does femininity mean in today's world?
what
Like,
does
what do you think?
femininity mean in today's world? I'm just looking at a feminine woman from the perspective of I associate that with a more softer, more delicate, more submissive woman who. I only talk about it from. That's why I like women to talk about it. I only talk about it from the perspective of what it does for a man. A more softer, delicate woman who's more submissive, who gets on board, who does more traditional things and doesn't think more traditionally womanly, feminine things, and doesn't think that it's some hassle or some tedious chore or task that she's doing. It's just something that she kind of naturally does on default. It's so, like I said, it's her default setting. It's her autopilot. She doesn't have to exactly make a conscious decision to do it, to be womanly, because she's naturally a woman, and women should naturally be feminine. They should naturally be all those things, all those attributes that are associated with femininity. So
Okay,
I
so
guess that's the best answer I can come up with.
no, that's good. That's good. And just the follow up question: uh, i- is sexuality a part of that definition of femininity?
um like I said earlier in the show, it's not absolutely necessary to it, but if merged together properly, then yeah, it's the perfect combination. But like I said, there's a such thing as a feminine woman who's not sexy,
Okay,
and so yeah,
and I would disagree, but that's fine.
yeah, no, I know we disagree on that one.
Tawana, all right. What is femininity to you in today's world?
like you said earlier, it's a collection of cultural norms, biological factors, it's the social norms that have been placed on women, and even the idea of being docile, being submissive, being agreeable, are all terms that have been connected to femininity, along with, but a lot of people discount like the nurturing, the communicative. Women are, we have those, like, emotive. We have a lot of these characteristics that are just naturally, what women do that men don't tend to understand or discount. And I think that it's defined that way. In this society, though, it's pretty much going back to connected to like these gender roles. They connected femininity to gender roles because they want to kind of eliminate this idea of feminism and this movement that kind of gave women the choice, right? They want it to be more so, okay, this is innately what you should be doing as a woman, and kind of connected to biological factors. But that hasn't been proven, right? There's no biological or scientific method that says that one woman is more feminine than the other woman. It's all social constructs, or it's all white European standards that we've been placing on ourselves, right?
So,
So,
what about sexuality? What is sexuality in terms of the woman's perspective mean to you?
I mean, you had that question about women being over sexualized, and I know that, like, it's been studies that suggest that black women, like even as young as 5, girls are seen as sexual, or as not needing as much help as like this a 5-year-old white girl. And like, also removing their innocence, and not seeing them as, just children, right? So we're sexualized at a young age, if I'm speaking from the black woman perspective. So it's really, yeah, this idea that, we do these behaviors, or we engage in certain things like for attention from men, right? It's these behaviors. Or even like if women wear like let's say you take your daughter to the beach and she got on a two-piece swimsuit, like, and she's 13 or 14, right? People can over sexualize that depending on how her body looks, right? Depending on this, that, and the third. So what some women, we have to specifically be careful about what we wear, because then that presents something to men, right? Or that presents something to the world. So we are sexualized by everything. We have to think about how much skin are we showing? How does this shirt look? Like, I have to think about, like, if I have my boobs out, are people gonna think this? Or are people gonna think that? And especially when you're in a space that you don't feel protected. So sometimes sexuality is connected to your ability to be sexy or appealing to the opposite sex, right? If you're interested in the opposite sex.
Yes.
Because some people do it for whatever sex they're trying to attract.
Yes.
It's that ability to appeal to that demo, whoever you're trying to attract. And sometimes, yeah, that happens to different women.
Can there be femininity without sexuality?
That you asked that question. I don't. I mean, I think that there are women, right? Because you have children, right, who can be very feminine, and I don't consider them like sexual or embracing sexuality, right? But you have children who are naturally nurturing, or naturally kind, or naturally have these attributes or characters that are similar to women and our characteristics. So yeah, I do think that femininity exists without sexuality. I will say is a true feminine woman, like, who embraces her sexuality, is probably a level to it, right? Like a
Yeah.
woman who understands how to use her sexuality for good, not for the whole stroll, like y'all was
Yeah.
saying, or being a prostitute or whatever, right? Like, to actually attract the man she's interested in. If that's, I'm talking about heterosexual women.
People, yes.
I'm heterosexual people, right? So women use, we know how to be desirable, because people consider that sexuality, being desirable by men. Or I know how to go out and look good for my man. That's a level of sexuality. It's not me just being feminine. It's me getting my hair done or getting my nails done because I know he likes it, or putting on something that's very sexy because I know my man likes it. That's embracing your sexuality. So yeah, it's part of being feminine, in my opinion.
Okay. All right. Well, you guys survived. You guys did a lot better. But like I said, I want to thank you guys for both having this conversation. This is it. This is the last time I'm doing this conversation because y'all ain't nobody agree with me on half of your shit.
I agree with you.
Because this is rooted in you trying to elevate hoes to the top of the female hierarchy. That's what he's trying to do. I saw
Someone
where this
asked
all
me
started.
what I meant with hoes. Hi, Freezy. Somebody asked me how do I define a hoe? I don't listen. To me, calling a woman a hoe is not a feminine. Like that's not feminine. Like a woman, I don't think of a woman like that because I don't have sexual relations with women, so I don't know
Tawana,
these.
you know what a hoe is.
No, no,
God
no.
damn it.
I
I
know
just
what y'all think. I know what y'all think hoes are. I know what y'all say hoes are, and I can tell you what a man thinks a hoe is. Yes, I know that. I'm not saying that.
You were going
Me
so good.
personally,
just for the
me
record. Go ahead.
personally, I don't call women hoes. Like
Okay.
why am I gonna call you a hoe? I don't sleep with
Okay, I
you.
just want to say
That's all
this
I'm
for
saying.
the people keeping score at home. If you've been watching, okay, so you can't say that a woman is so. You can't say that a woman is not feminine, and you can't say that a woman is not beautiful. She made all three of those arguments.
Okay, I believe that.
So
I believe
basically,
that.
she's arguing no standards. Let them all under the tent. Hoes, ugly,
I
not
didn't say
beautiful,
no
not
standard.
feminine.
All right,
That's
all
what
right,
you're
all right. We got
arguing
to get out
for.
of here, right? We got to get out of here.
Can't say
Look,
no.
I appreciate y'all. If y'all haven't hit the like button already, please do so. If y'all haven't hit the subscribe button, please do so. But thank you, Bernard Riley. Thank you, Tawana G. Enjoy y'all Friday. Peace.
Peace.
Peace, peace, peace.